everyone. Today we
Good evening. This is Gloom. You gotta be gloomy. This is Gloomier, actually. It's not even Gloom, it's Gloomier.
Hi.
I guess not. We're excited to play this game.
We're saddened to play this game.
We're saddened to play this game. It's Gloomier, so this is almost like not quite a second printing, but an expansion to Gloom.
Well, it's its own base game, so you can play it without Gloom, but it's Gloomier.
Oh, okay. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Normally, we're not this gloomy.
Morose.
Big word day. Okay, so
And big hat.
yes. All right. So now let's talk about this game. Tell us more about it. I know it's not up for retail yet, but that's about it.
I'm going to talk about it, not Randy. So
I didn't say Randy. I said
You looked at me.
You were looking at her, at him. Sorry, Randy can act like a girl, so that's forgive me. But he's like, tell me about it. And anyway, 2022 release. So this is brand new. We picked it up at Gen Con, I believe, right?
Yes, got it.
So we got it at Gen Con. And so this is a standalone expansion to Gloom, which if you go back to the archives, you can see we reviewed that already. Yeah. Overall rank is 13,079, rated at 7.4. Plays 2 to 5, ages 14 and up. I don't know. You think it's...
Well, it's the content. The subject matter.
I guess.
I guess. It's generally a bad form to have little kids killing people.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, though. So. And then designed by Keith Baker, art by Topper Helmers, released by Atlas Games. MSRP is $27.95 on the Atlas website. I found a copy on Geek Market for €28. It's like from Israel, I think. So.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about quality of components. So Gloomier is just this.
Yeah, all of the Gloom come in these standard little boxes.
Except for the second edition. The second edition was a harder shell.
Yeah. And one of the problems I had with base Gloom was the cards slip out. These
really
boxes
bad.
wear out, and the edges they slip out.
Yeah, if you play it a lot, it's a horrible.
If you are a fan, after we played it and did the review, we really enjoyed the base Gloom. Mm-hmm. So just to give you that, I went out and bought they call it the Grief Case, which I love the name.
Yeah. And
now I've stored all of the sets in this box. So I've moved everything from that box into this one, so I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you get in this Gloomier?
Basically, all these see-through cards.
Not the map.
This is from a different game.
Yeah.
So they're basically the see-through cards. We've seen these type before in like
Canvas and
Mystic Veil. Yeah, Mystic Veil is the one I was looking for.
But I think this came out way before Mystic Veil.
Yeah, this Gloom predates all of those. Yeah. I don't know if it was the first to use the clear cards, but it's the first one I know of that did.
Okay, well, this is my first dealing with these, so
with Gloom.
Yeah, with Gloom, so I'm kind of going off of my knowledge. But yeah, so basically that's pretty much it. Now, I mean, I think they're fine. I think they're good. I mean, they're good quality.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're quality cards.
They're cards. You stack them, you can see through them. They're very functional. I can appreciate that. I do think that they actually thought about, what was on the other side. Because I know, like, the Canvas, the first one, they didn't really pay attention to the backs. But second time they did, and I'm glad they already, were on it. They were already
on it.
So with that, I do appreciate it. What are you guys thinking about scores? Because it's a card game, but it's a nice card game.
I mean, all you get literally are the cards, but they are really nice cards. I mean, they have a good feel to them. They do get scuffed over lots of plays. I know the original Gloom I had, a lot of the cards were getting a little scuffed. So I might want to sleeve these, but
I don't see how them functional with sleeves because it makes it even thicker and harder to see.
Yeah, it will make it because as you layer them, because you're going to play cards on top of one another, you're going to end up covering things up, and you're going to have
it makes it harder and harder to see.
Their transparency isn't truly transparent. I mean, there is a little bit of a tint that is going to make the numbers harder.
Well, and obviously, as the more oils and grease gets from your hands, they will end up being cloudier and cloudier and cloudier. So there's that. So give it a score, guys.
So on previous Gloom, 6.5 to 7 is where I rated this. Same cards, same quality, nothing's changed. Same score, 6.5 to 7.
I'm the same way, especially since the box. I mean, I would have hoped that they learned maybe their lesson from I mean, this is a brand new game, and the box still stinks. So I can't give it a better score.
This box, however,
Yeah, but yeah, not this one.
Oh, one thing we didn't mention is in these boxes, one thing they did do nice, and maybe I'm gonna give it the 7 because of this, is they took a lesson from Smash Up, and they actually put these dividers.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, that I think does make it a 7. For me, well, it's just this Nibra box is so nice. I know it doesn't count, but
yeah, that's not going to affect my score, even though it's cool because I don't have the box. So having that divider,
You're just jealous, really.
Having that divider is meaningless to me, and so.
Well, I mean, at least they thought about the people that actually did purchase the box.
Like me.
All right, so now let's talk about the theme. Now, just like Gloom, I think this also shines for theme.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very fun to have your characters, and honestly, I had more fun elaborating on how that bad thing happened to them.
That's the whole
point of the game.
And honestly, I felt like maybe Randy shouldn't have focused on winning, and maybe we should have focused more on the story.
Well, I love that you coincidentally played the death by a kitten on the one that had
the cuddle. My character got cuddled with cats, and so great, it's adorable. All that she killed me off with a kitten. So
well, I thought
killed by kitten.
Listen, I had to. It was like here,
but
play me. It led me down the path.
So it was the perfect card.
It was your puns amaze me.
I just really wish she did it that way on purpose. She didn't know.
I did. No, I did do it on purpose. It was the twins. You had them play with cats, and it worked out nicely on the placement too. So it was beautiful.
Okay.
But that really is
But that's the whole point of the game.
Highlight of this game is making those stories and playing those different little pun adjectives on top of each character,
and then really reading that card and trying to play off of that.
I almost feel at the death we should have done a whole eulogy and explain what happened in like full detail, and I think I would have actually gotten a lot more.
And people probably do. I think people really get into it.
When we did the review for Gloom, I had a really good one where a guy went on a picnic and all these things, like he got attacked by ants during it, and they all went together really well.
Yeah,
and it was just perfect on that one. So I like the fact that you can get those chains going, and they're not, the cards are completely, from a scoring perspective, independent, but the story is so much more fun when you can embellish it.
Right.
So that's why I don't mind the fact that it's a take that game, because normally I don't like take that games, but people are adding to your story and changing your story, and you're modifying it and absorbing into the story their pieces they add. So the more that you embellish the tale, the better it is. So I agree. From a theme, this is where it shines, and I think I was a 9 thematically before. I still am.
Me too.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with the 9. I think it was a lot of fun. All right, Randy. So tell us about the rule book. What do you think?
All right. So the rule book has actually got a nice cover. This is the first of the Glooms that I've seen that has the color image. Most of them are just like black and white paper, but they to get it into this little box, they creased it down the middle, which kind of stinks because it's really a pretty cool picture of the Grim Reaper on there. It's looks like it's pencil drawn. I like that. And then they put a crease down the middle of it. As far as the rulebook goes, when we read through it, it's basically the same as all the other Gloom rulebooks. It does have a little bit of terminology changing as far as calling out some of the differences in the rules, which I normally like to see, but we had some confusion about terminology between guest and character, which were not really clearly delineated in here. But on the positive side, they have these really nice cheat sheets that tell you kind of all the steps of the game. Well, look,
they're set up on one side on your turn. These are fantastic. Yes. They were super useful. The iconography. So everything was really fantastic.
Yeah. So I really like how they do the cheat sheets. And as far as the rule book goes, I'm going to probably go ahead and give the rule book, I'm probably going to give it a 7.5. I think it does an effective job. I just wish it had a little bit more clarity around.
And you'd have been an 8 if there was no crease.
Yeah, I definitely would have given a higher score with the crease not there, because this messes up my beautiful art.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the gameplay. So, first thing is every person gets, now what's the difference between this and normal Gloom is the fact that the families aren't already established. So you're actually randomly picking 4. You can go kind of in a drafting or do whatever you want. It
And
doesn't really matter.
they're all coming from the Hemlock Hill family, which is one of the families from the base set. So some of the characters are
in the
yeah. Like I got the Butterfield, the butler, that was one of my characters because I played this family during when we played the other.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So once everyone picks 4 characters, you take the leftover characters. If there's leftover characters, you don't have any, I guess in 5-player, but then you flip over 2 of them. And in this case, we have an unwelcome guest, and then we have a storyline. So once that you complete the storyline objective, so it requires a looking glass. At the start of your turn, you can play a modifying card with a looking glass icon as a free play if you ended up picking this up. And then this one is follow the heart symbol. He will not move if he has a visible heart icon. Okay, so that's kind of nice. So he's a love interest. Fantastic.
So the difference is there. The unwanted guests, they do negative things. You don't want them. But whenever you play a certain icon or you meet a certain condition, they will come to your family.
But you might get lucky and you might be able to kill them.
Yeah. With a story, on the other hand, it's a bonus you get. But if someone else plays more of that icon than you, similar to the
you lose it and
road, they gain it. But they have to take an action to claim it.
Right.
It doesn't just by default move to them. They have to do an action to claim it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wish that we would have seen the story cards come up in the game we played. Because when we played original Gloom, we did, and I liked it. And
those were promos that were in the game that were added in, so they were not part of it.
I just think it's a neat element that we didn't see in this version.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So now that the board is set up, we are actually going to go straight into our turn. Now, your turn consists of 2 different actions, and I'm going to go over those actions. So the one that matters that it can only be your first action only is to give death to your characters unless you do another combination or something like that to alter that rule. So, but when you go to play the untimely death, so there's a couple of things. So you first have to have negative on that. So text here, he was ruined by rumors, okay? Destroyed him. It was utterly...
That's what rumors do.
It's just devastating.
Awful. They're awful.
And so he decided... and the rumors had to do with his love. Actually,
oh, really?
Yeah, his love cheated on him, supposedly.
Shut the front door.
Yes, I'm not kidding. And he died for it. Okay. All right. So he died for love. All right.
So why did you pick him to die over somebody else?
Well, because the fact is he actually had negative points. Okay. And so that's what ended up happening. And okay, so that is one action that you can play. So they have to be negative, and it has to be on your first turn unless it states otherwise.
And in general, once they die, they're out. You've locked in your points for that card, but there
There are a few ways around it.
Yeah,
there is a resurrection. There is a resurrection card. Okay, all right. So one of the other actions is you can actually play a modifier card. Okay, so for example, Sally True, she's an inspiring sleuth, right? She's an investigator, and she actually was she was burnt by the butler.
Oh no!
Oh, Butterfield!
No.
Bad
I know.
Butterfield.
So what happened is she was in the kitchen, and
she's probably making ramen because that's depressing.
Well, whatever. So she was actually soothing in the kitchen,
I love ramen.
and the butler turned too quickly and ended up burning her.
Oh,
yeah. So that's actually what I'm having. It was quite depressing. Now, so that's playing the modifier, but I am not just limited to my board. So normally my turn would end. I would draw up to my hand size, we go around the table, and then it's my turn again. But I can play on others. So, so for example, Robert here has the Colonel, right? So he's been around the world from London to the Bay, and you know what? He really enjoys 11Zs.
I really enjoy what?
11Zs.
Of course. Who doesn't?
I mean, yes. And, he really, that butler was cooking.
I enjoyed 11Zs, and the flavor is, what did they discuss over tea?
Yeah.
Evidently, it was 11Zs.
Yeah, so...
11Zs.
So, yes, so what I did, though, is I gave him a positive point. Now, to win the game, you have to have the most negative points accumulated with dead characters, okay?
And in general, you cannot play a untimely demise unless they're negative. So given that, you're going to want to.
It's making my game harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although generally they will also give you a positive ability.
Usually the plus emotions, I guess is what it is. I mean,
it's good things.
Good things
happen.
But it could increase my hand size. It increase the number of cards in my hand. It could be all kinds of good stuff.
Draw cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another action that you can do. So for my second action, I'm going to end up playing a event card. So this is a plot twist. Okay. I get to draw 3 cards and move a story card or living guest to your family. So I'm going to take 3 cards. And I don't want the bachelor messing up with my ladies in my family. So I'm going to take the story card, okay, and I'm going to place it. And at the start of your turn, you can play a modifying card. So I basically have an extra ability until someone takes that from me. Okay, and then again, you fill up your hand to 5. If you have more than 5, then you obviously discard down.
No, you don't.
You don't discard down.
You do not discard down. You just don't draw back.
All right, so in this particular case, I have 6 cards because I was able to draw 3. I just do not draw back, okay? I get to keep the cards that I've collected due to the special actions, and then it goes to the next player. So you guys keep doing, everyone takes their turns until eventually someone's family ends up all dead. And then you trigger the scoring round immediately, so everyone takes their negative points, and whoever wins whoever has the most negative points wins the game. So this game is, I don't feel like, very complicated in gameplay, but the thematics of it, this is where this game shines. And we kind of mentioned that when we were talking about theme, but that's really where the enjoyment comes, because there is a lot of take that in this game. But I thought it was tolerable for my level.
There's a lot of humor involved. So,
yeah, there's a lot of humor.
So you make it funny, and you did more role playing than we did. And so I think that adds a lot. It takes away the sting.
I didn't appreciate when she tried to stab me to death, though.
I thought it was fun.
I thought it was fun. And I think the thing is, and I think this can be a lot of fun depending on your crowd. So, like, sure. I love role playing, so this could be a lot of fun, and tying stories together. So it could almost be more of like a storytelling thing, even though there is some actual like hardcore mechanics to it. And I can appreciate that actually quite a bit. I understand why you guys really enjoyed this.
And we talked about it in Gloom, where, if you got a particularly sensitive player, it's not going to be the game for you. So you want to make sure that you, like you said, you have a really kind of more open.
I mean, you want to play this tongue-in-cheek. You don't want to go. This is not a serious game. If you're a cutthroat, out-to-win kind of person, but you don't like attacking games, this is not going to be the right game.
Yeah, you have to set your mind. So Randy kind of warned me ahead of time. He was like, "Hey, let's take that game. Kind of keep that in mind. Focus on the theme." And so that helped me really enjoy it a lot more, because I wanted to focus on the story. Now, towards the end, we kind of got away from the story, and I kind of didn't like that. But so I think part of it is who you play with, how you play it, and I think there's a lot of potential here for it.
And it's almost a party game, and so I think as long as you keep it at that level, you're going to love it.
Mm-hmm. And it's really a good game for this time of year. That's why we're featuring it here at Halloween.
All right, so let's give it a score, guys. All right, Robert.
I gave the original Gloom an 8. It's still an 8. I really enjoy the game. It's a lot of fun. So you can't go wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it didn't feel like the enhancements changed it that dramatically. Mm-hmm. So I think it's an 8. I mean, it's the only difference really is about the family cards you get. I mean, that's really the only big difference. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that it gave you the flexibility of turning them over, to add in those.
And thematically, they were unwelcome, so they made sense.
Oh yeah,
it was really
especially
cool.
the one that wouldn't die. You couldn't end the game while he was in your possession.
He was unkillable.
He was very
killed conversations.
Yeah. For me, I'm actually going to give this a 7.5. I enjoyed it. It's a little take that. It's not my favorite, but I still had a lot of fun, and I think
so. 7.5 for a take that game is
actually
really good
for me. Yeah. But I caveat, I would want to play it with the role play aspect a lot more, right? Just because that's the part that I enjoyed.
Yeah. Who'd be fun to play this with, right? Heather.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, it would be absolutely
great.
Heather, come play with us. But absolutely, I had a great time. What about you guys?
Yep.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We had an absolute blast tonight. I hope you come hang out with us again. Catch you guys later. Bye.